I didn't make any money in my first 5 months. Once I did that, it all just came naturally. I have now had 12 deals closed and I have 2 under
Damn.
contract now. If a lot of agents had that mindset in the beginning, they would be very successful pretty quickly.
Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast. This today is a rising star in real estate. Taylor Klein, only 24 years old and in her first year in the business, has already 10 deals closed with 4 more under contract. Taylor has followed her way through the steepest learning curve in real estate. This shares her story to help others overcome the odds and make it in this industry.
Icons of Real Estate podcast, the flagship show of the #1 real estate podcast network, where real estate agents come to grow. Whether you're looking to scale your business, expand your network, or stay sharp with insider knowledge, you found your go-to daily dose of real estate gold. Our hosts sit down with the industry's top producers and rising stars, sharing raw stories, winning strategies, and the real lessons that create icons. With over 500 episodes and 70-plus shows in our network, we're not just another podcast. We're your competitive edge in real estate. Tune in, level up. Become an icon of real estate.
Taylor, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. So, first in real estate, 10 deals in, probably some people are listening and feeling a little embarrassed or cringe. It's like, how can she do that? A lot of new agents, they struggle with confidence. How do you build your?
I really surrounded myself my first few months in just learning. I didn't make any money in my first 5 months, but I showed up every day at the office. I listened to how other people were talking to their clients. I listened to stories that they had, how they overcame obstacles. And I think it really helped me a lot when I got started, especially with cold calling, on how to handle rejection, but also be confident and just being reassuring. Even if I didn't know the answer, I was like, great question. I'll definitely look into that and I'll get back to you in a little bit. I'm never delivering things that I don't know. And I feel like when you have that mindset and that stance, consumers respect that a lot more.
Yeah, because people, they respect someone that knows information, also that someone has the abilities to get that information.
Right. Yeah. A lot of my clients in the beginning knew that I had only been in for a few months and they were like, you're just so confident, you're so eager, you're so willing to figure it out. And I think that if a lot of agents had that mindset in the beginning, they would be very successful pretty quickly.
You mentioned that your motivation came from burnout in your previous career.
I was originally in the orthodontic field. I didn't really get to go on vacation a lot. I didn't really get to enjoy the life. I had actually moved to Nashville January of 2020. So right before COVID hit, probably the worst time to move somewhere new. I was all alone, but I lived there for about 5 or 6 months before I recognized how much I loved the Pensacola area. I mean, we have beaches, you have the country, the city. I mean, it can fit every lifestyle. And so when I started looking for something that I would really enjoy doing, I was like, well, I encourage all my friends and families to move here. So I was like, why not share it with other people?
You're basically a panhandle promoter. So you're doing things on a genuine, Yeah, you're a tour guide. Yeah, and even make it fun. So I would like to know that as well. I'll be right back. It's all how you take it,
Mm-hmm.
So what's been kind of, if we want to just, look at challenges as well, what's been the hardest moment in this first year, and what do you do to kind of keep it going?
Let's see. I think the hardest moment is just doing everything that you can do as an agent and it just not working out for the client, whether it be, finances or an emergency came up and they're not closing on the house. I learned pretty early on, if money is your mindset the whole time, you're always going to have these really big obstacles. In the beginning, I was counting all of my eggs before they hatched, right? I was like, I have 4 things under contract. This is how much money I'm about to have, versus being like, all right, we're under contract. That's 30% of my job. Now I need to really make sure deadlines are being met, the client is happy. So I really think that mentally I had to take a step back and not put money as my full focus. And then once I did that, it all just kind of came naturally. So, just trying to be a positive light in that situation is also the mindset that I've had when things start to go downhill.
Nice. And not everyone has the mindset to kind of go uphill after after their disappointment. When was the exact month that you started?
I started July 22nd, so almost 1 year from now.
Here, the 10 deals and the 4 under contract, are these still valid, or is there an update?
I think when we talked about it, I was waiting on some to close. So I have now had 12 deals close, and I have two under
Damn.
contract now. Hoping to get a third one here in the next few hours. So crossing my fingers, but
Nice.
mhm.
Awesome. I love that, Taylor. And let's go talk a little bit about cold calling and the actual hustle. You've cold called FISBOs, expires, and even entire neighborhoods. What's your cold calling routine?
Something I try to do for a few hours a week. But usually, if I have an open house, I'll call the neighborhood, let them know, hey, I'm doing an open house. You should stop by. Only because I think it's really nice to spread the word and also be like, hey, if anyone parks in your driveway, let me know. Here's my number. Feel free to call me. Just kind of get them the heads up on why it may be busy. When I've done for sale by owners, they can be pretty difficult. They used to question me a lot more about being new, but I think I talked with a lot of confidence. So my very first listing was actually a for sale by owner and an expired listing, and it was a beach home for a little over $1 million. And I felt
Nice.
honored that they picked me. But at the end of the day, we didn't really meet mind to mind on things, so we decided for them to go ahead and wait to sell. But it was a very good experience on learning how to handle for sale by owners and expireds, people that want their house sold or have been unsuccessful in getting their house sold. My team specifically is specialized in working with expireds and being able to get it sold that second time around. We have lots of systems in place of what we do to try to get it sold that second time. Why it didn't sell that first time? Was it the market? Was it the price? Was it the photos? I work together with my team to try to figure out, why do we think it didn't sell? Do we think we could help out with it? And I think when you just come from a standpoint of wanting to help them, it comes across a lot better rather than be, hey, I want to be your agent. I just want to help you. What can I help you with? If I have a for sale by owner or an expired listing in a neighborhood that we just listed, I may call them and be like, hey, we have a house. If it doesn't work out for anyone we show, can we show yours? And most of the time they're like, oh, thanks. Like, that would be so nice. We do the proper documentation that we need to. But usually it comes across like we're trying to help. We're not just here for a paycheck. And usually they end up calling us or being like, hey, actually, can you come and see if you can list our house? So usually it ends up working out pretty good for us.
What are you a fan of, like, it's a numbers game and you'll get your results if you pull in the numbers, or is there anything that you do that it can set you aside from the other agents?
So we have a nice little system that we use to track our CRM database, and reminds me, even when I'm busy, like, hey, send a text, make a quick call. I've actually had a handful of people that have been like, you're the only person that's still following up. And it's almost a year later.
Nice.
And I think a lot of sellers get told, well, so and so can do it for this commission rate and they can do it at this price. And I just tell them it's not realistic. Like, this is how the market is. This is what buyers are looking for. They're looking for competition with new development. So we have to be very strategic in where we're pricing your house and what we're offering with it. And I think when you come across more transparent, they just appreciate the honesty so much more.
You kind of seem like a little CRM nerd there. Is that
Yeah.
true?
Yes, I use my CRM to the full extent that we have, even if it's just a text like, I hope you have a good summer. I like to make sure they know I'm still around if they need me.
I don't believe there's one person in the world that uses the full functionality of a CRM, because there's so much to do.
Uh,
What are you going to tell me that you're the one that uses
I
everything?
I am the one. I may not use some features of it, but I feel like I use a lot of it. I mean, I use my calendar is set to my Google Calendar, so anytime I get like it automatically goes on there. I have a task reminder for every single client, whether it was a cold call,
Nice.
like the day before 4th of July, I'm going to be pretty busy sending out happy 4th of July text messages. But every Monday, I go in and clean my database. I make sure people are in the correct stages and everyone has been communicated with at least once a month. And they all have a task. So I know it never gets missed. No one ever falls through the cracks. So I think just like being really consistent, that has helped me, and just setting a task reminder so I don't forget to touch base or follow up with them, regardless of what it is.
Okay, so I think you're close to be the one. You're close to be the one. Let's touch really fast on social media as well. You're growing fast on Instagram. Now you have your own podcast. Can you tell us how has this helped you attract business or even build credibility?
It's attracted me a lot of business, I will say. It took a little bit of building up the momentum. I really wanted to get into social media because people know who I am. They know me as Taylor Klein, but they don't know me as Taylor Klein, the realtor. And I wanted to make sure very early on that I started changing that. I actually just met with my fifth social media lead. I probably have a handful of others just messaging me, communicating with my stories, with my posts and stuff like that. It's actually pretty funny. I'll go into like our local grocery store and someone will be like, "Oh, I saw your video." And I'm like, "Great, it's working." It's nothing crazy that I'm doing. I'm just showing people my day, the cool houses that I go in. We live in an area where there's the city, the beach, the country. And so I think it's pretty cool, honestly, just like showing the different houses that we have. And it draws a lot of it. I've watched my followers increase. I've watched my engagement increase. I'm very big in seeing what works, what's getting the most attention versus what's not. In reference to my podcast, I feel like I'm getting a lot more attention on it. It is relatively new. We've only been doing it for a few months and only post bi-weekly, but it's pretty interesting. A lot more agents are getting information out of it than I expected. A lot of agents are like, "Oh, I didn't know that." So I think a lot of people are learning something new, and I really am excited to see how much it grows in the future.
Nice. And yeah, if you and it seems like you're on a very steady path, to position yourself as a go-to agent in the Pensacola, right? I hope you make it to number one there.
Thank you. Thank you. Me too.
And Taylor, you made it through the first year.
Yeah.
What are your goals for year two? And even if we can go a little bit beyond that, your vision for your real estate career, which is just a tiny baby right now.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am the type of person that dreams very big. I'm hoping in the next few years to go ahead and start my own team, hopefully here in the Panhandle with my brokerage, and on some good agents. But also, I hope one day that maybe in the very long, far future, I can get into more coaching and more mentoring. I hope that in a few years I can really help change the ratings on how many people are getting out of real estate because of burnout or being unsuccessful.
And I love you still didn't finish your first year already thinking about coaching. Well, it just shows that you're confident about what you know, and I do believe that you can make a great leader and a great coach. And yeah, so Taylor, do you want to tell our Icons of Real Estate audience how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, obviously I have my own podcast, Purchasing the Panhandle. If you go and check it out on Spotify or Apple Podcast, you'll be able to get all my contact information, my email address, and my cell phone number. We're always looking for guests.
Awesome. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your first year, your first adventure, and talking about cold calling and social media and even your podcast. It was a pleasure, and I know that our audience loved it as well. And I say goodbye to you, Taylor, and I say goodbye to everyone else, and I'll see you guys next week.
Loved what you heard? Subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow agents. It helps more agents find the show and tells us what you want more of. And hey, want to get featured on multiple podcasts like Icons or even find epic guests for your podcast? Check out The Hub, the ultimate guesting platform in real estate. Link in the description. Catch you next time. Keep crushing it out there.